So let me get on my tinfoil hat for a second. Guerschon Yabusele is no longer a Philadelphia 76er. He's not a Sixer. He's moved on. He's going to the Knicks. It's unfortunate because he's going to one of the best teams in the East and a team that you're expecting to be contending for the Eastern Conference. And you expect the Sixers to be right there. At least I do. I think the Sixers are a really good team, and maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid here, but I think they had a really, really down year. I think everything kind of, that could go wrong went wrong for them. And I think they're going to be much, 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 much better next year. But their depth took a hit when you lose Yabo. And he signs with a Knicks team. And it's like, damn, that sucks. Okay, all right, well, we'll see what happens there. But then something interesting comes out. When he was asked about the offer from the Sixers, he said, yeah, there's no hard feelings or anything, but their offer was a little disrespectful. Something to that effect. I'm not going to look it up, so hit thumbs down for that, for me just being lazy. It's late here in Roxborough. But it was basically the equivalent of their offer really wasn't what we were looking for. And it was like, damn, okay. That happens. There's plenty of instances where teams will lowball a guy just so they can say, we made him an offer. And now the team isn't looked at as the bad guy. The players looked at as the bad guy. I remember Mark Teixeira talking about that with the Orioles, that he was from Baltimore. And Andy McPhail, former Philly loser, he basically called him up and said, look, we're going to make you an offer, and it's not going to be a good one, so that we can say we made you an offer. And then he was looked at as the bad guy by Baltimore Orioles fans. It's like, I can't believe you didn't want to come home. And it's like, that offer wasn't even close. It wasn't a real offer. So there are instances of organizations doing this. They want to save face, and they want to say, hey, we made him an offer. And then it ends up being a lowball offer that's not a real offer. But then you looked at what Yabu signed for, and it's slightly above the mid-level exemption. And it's like, how low was the Sixers offer? If all you got from the Knicks was slightly above the mid-level, how low could the Sixers offer have really been? So, as I said, let me put on that tinfoil hat. Tinfoil is expensive, so I'm not making a hat right now. All right? Can't afford it. That's why we need subscribers. But when you put on a tinfoil hat, just envision one right there. I wonder how much of this is agent-driven. I wonder how much of this is his agent wanting to get him to a bigger market in the Knicks. Because the reality is, the NBA is a big market league. The NFL is market proof. Doesn't really matter what city you're in, you can be a star in the NFL. Kansas City is not exactly the hotbed when it comes to markets. And yet, you've got Travis Kelce, you've got Patrick Mahomes, they're a good team. And when good teams are good and they have good players, the NFL is marketless proof. Whereas the NBA, it's like these players want to get to big markets. And I'm sure every Sixers fan, when the team drafted Ben Simmons, had the thought in our heads of how long before he asked for a trade to LA. And ironically, he became a Clipper last year, and it's a very forgettable experience. So when you look at the NBA and you look at agents controlling things, and you look at Yabu's comments about the lowball offer, the reality is Daryl Morey's not calling up Yabu and saying, hey man, this is what we're offering. He's calling up his agent, which means that the offer is getting relayed to him by his agent. The offer of what the Sixers are giving is relayed. It's not given directly to the player. So when you look at that factor, I just wonder how much of this, and this is pure speculation, this is late night conspiracy theory stuff, but I wonder how much of it is the agent sitting there going, okay, we got him back in the NBA, and we got him on a team where he carved out a role for himself, but the team is a little bit of a shit show. I'm drinking the Sixers Kool-Aid, but the Sixers are a little bit of a shit show. Whereas the Knicks have been in the Eastern Conference Finals. Knicks went from the second round to the Eastern Conference Finals. They got a new coach. It's a big market. It's New York. They are the team. It's not like they're the Nets. They're their team. If he balls out for the Knicks in the Mecca, guy's going to get paid. And who else gets paid? The agent gets paid. I love Philadelphia. I will die for this city. I will defend the city at all costs. But Philadelphia is not the market that New York is, and especially in the NBA. It's like LA, New York, Miami, that is it. Those are the markets. There's three markets in the NBA. Those are it. And I just wonder how much of this is maybe the Sixers offer wasn't bad. Maybe the Sixers gave an offer that was similar or maybe even a little bit better than the Knicks, but this is agent driven. And the agent sat there and said, no, we'll take a little bit of a hit. Like, let's say, hypothetically speaking, I don't even know what the offer was, but let's say, hypothetically speaking, the Sixers offered $6 million, and the agent goes, yeah, you know what? I'd rather have him sign for 5.5, take a $500,000 hit, and be in New York, be on primetime TV way more often, and be in that system, whatever that system is with Mike Brown, but be in that system over in Philadelphia, where because of where the team was, they're probably not going to be on many primetime games. And it's like I don't want to use that phrase, the long-term game frame, but it's I'm going to take one step back to take 5 steps forward. Because if he balls out for the Knicks, look out. So it's just a conspiracy theory on my part. I was very surprised when I initially saw the quote from Yabu. I thought, okay, yeah, it's unfortunate. Like, I would love to have him back, but if they gave a low ball offer, I get it. And then when you see what he signed for, and you're like, how low could it be? You signed for just over the mid-level. So they offered you the mid-level? But even then. So it's just complete conspiracy on my part. I have no inside information on this. Just kind of a random thought that I had of like, maybe this isn't necessarily on the up and up. Maybe this is agent driven. Now's the part where I ask you guys to hit the button. Subscribe's the most important one. You guys know where that is, obviously, and you know where the rest of the buttons are. Let me know if you agree, though, if you actually believe that the Sixers lowballed them, or if it smells fishy to you too, because it smells very, very fishy to me. And I'm going to go now and watch Netflix. Go Sixers.